Hi folks, this is John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru, sitting in my car in a garage at the hospital where my son still recovers from surgery, but he's doing okay, so everything's good. I'm answering the question that I got from one of my viewers asking basically this question. Suppose you have a gait group and you ambulate a patient, and then you let that first patient rest, and then you ambulate the second patient, and then you let that patient rest, and you get through all the 6 patients you're allowed to in a group, and they all ambulated. The question is, can you still bill that as group even though you had 5 people sitting around doing nothing for a while? And the answer is, well, yes. If that was a gait group, let's face it, there are going to be times when people in group are sitting and they're waiting their turn. Medicare recognizes this in the valuation of group. Yes, they recognize that group is valuable for some people because the socialization and the positive peer pressure that group provides for patients can sometimes spur them on to greater functional outcome. But the fact of the matter is, they also recognize it's not as valuable as individual care. If you look at the fee schedule for Part B, group is generally paid for compared to other one-on-one interventions at about 1/3 the cost. So it is a cheaper intervention because it's not as valuable in that regard as individualized treatment. So obviously in a gait group, you're going to have times when other patients are setting down. Now I would say this about a gait group: just because a patient can walk 200 feet doesn't mean that during the gait group you need to do that, because let's face it, gait training 97116 is not just ambulating them. You're working on gait components that they're deficient in. And so while the patient might be able to walk 200 feet and that takes them 5 minutes, they don't need to do that necessarily. Maybe you can have them walk 50 feet and you're working specifically on their gait components that are deficient, and that makes it a gait group, not an ambulation group. So that way you get cycling through the patients a little bit more quickly. Anyway, yes, gait, you can have patients sitting. Group, you can have patients sitting at times, and they might need that rest. But you can definitely cycle through a little bit more quickly. And there are going to be groups where you don't have to have your hands on the patients for the whole thing, like a therapeutic exercise group where maybe all 6 patients or 5 patients or 4 or down to 2, how many ever you have in the group. Sorry about the alarm in the background. But how many ever you have in the group are doing stuff at the same time, safely and effectively. And always keeping in mind that those are the key words you want to prove that you are necessary to do the group. Anyway, this is John Adamson, the Rehab and Documentation Guru. Hoping you're having a blessed day. Take care. God bless.